Hi there, I'm Mido,
And I'm Dan. Welcome to First Taste.
the show where we listen to albums, normally just whatever Pitchfork says is good.
Basically.
But today we're actually going out on a limb. We're listening to Preoccupations album, which Pitchfork doesn't have a review of yet,
A little bit nervous.
but they love them. Formerly known as Viet Cong,
Yeah.
they released an album last year. It was a self-titled album, and they followed it up with another self-titled album, but under the new name Preoccupations.
yeah.
I think they are the first ever band to
Double
have...
self-titled or?
Yeah, with like two totally separate names. They're a Canadian post-punk band.
When the album came out, I went to Pitchfork as we do.
Yeah,
No, I just happened to see it on there. It had genre listed post-punk. So I was like, oh, I'll give it a go. Yeah, I used to have this love for punk,
Okay.
and obviously like post-punk, but it had been a while since I'd really listened to that kind of stuff. But I put that on, and it kind of like reminded me why I really love post-punk. Or
Yeah,
like,
right.
Reignited that. I think it's one of those genres like where you find like one song or something. And it's like your way into that album, and like that brings you back, and then eventually the whole thing kind of clicks. And yeah, I really enjoyed the first album. I thought it was a really good effort.
I felt it was very traditional sort of post-punk. I didn't feel like they
Yeah.
were pushing too many boundaries, but it was like quality good stuff. It was a bit noisy. It was a bit more noisy than you get most post-punk.
Could have been released back then.
Yeah,
in its
definitely.
peak, and it still would have fit.
For better or worse.
Yeah,
as well.
exactly. Yeah.
I have a bit of a funny relationship with the album. It's a good album. I do really like it. But the first half doesn't do a whole lot for me. It's decent.
Yeah. So when's it kick in for you then?
I can tell you the exact moment it kicks in.
Okay.
It's 3/4 of the way through March of Progress.
Yeah, that
and
is
that
so
clean
good, that
guitar
part.
comes in. And from that point on, the album is flawless. Right? From
Yeah.
that melody, that guitar melody, and it goes into Bunker Buster and then Continental Shelf and Silhouettes
Yeah.
and Death. It's phenomenal. It's perfect. But the first half just does basically nothing for me.
Nothing at all.
A
do
little.
you skip
It does a
ahead?
little
Do you
for me.
skip ahead?
It's a good album. I actually find that I have on shuffle on my iPod.
Okay.
And I actually really enjoy like those
Yeah.
individual songs. I'm gonna get hated for that.
Yeah,
There are some
probably.
really anti-shuffle
Look,
people out there.
we're just being honest with everyone. I feel like they're onto a good formula. Like I expect it to be another solid album. Degraded.
Okay.
Was that the first single?
No, Anxiety was the first single.
Okay, so I heard Degraded. I haven't heard Anxiety.
Okay. I've heard Anxiety. I haven't heard
haven't
Degraded.
I really enjoyed that.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure. I'm not too sold on Anxiety. I
Yeah.
thought it was a little bit boring.
But I mean, where is it on the album? Maybe they're...
It's right at the first song.
maybe they're going the same route.
As part of First Taste, we are tasting two things, the music and the drinks.
That's right.
This one was really hard
Yeah,
to
it
come
was
up
really
with drinks
hard.
for. I just figured they're a Canadian band.
Yeah.
So I've gone with Canadian Club.
Yeah.
Because it was just so hard. I didn't put enough effort into thinking about
We
what
were-
I should do. I was too preoccupied with
We
other
were
things.
too preoccupied. There it is. Yeah, it was really... This was the toughest one. We really kind of scraped the bottom of the barrel. I just thought about post-punk and, I don't know, listening to Viet Cong, where I could imagine myself being, is just like a really grungy, dirty kind of pub. And they'd just be serving 4X bitter in Tollies. So I was just like, thought that's what I would go for. Anyway,
Here we go.
cheers.
Cheers. Let's get
Good
this
luck.
started.
Yeah, it's not the best, but
It's all right.
just building that tension.
And they love drawing it out.
It's good.
It's like March of Progress where it's like... oh. It's drony, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I feel like that's a bit Ian Courtesy.
Fairly like melodic though, off the bat.
I find with Preoccupations, they always have these melodies hiding underneath.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, which is really nice.
No, I'm enjoying it though.
Yeah, it's not a bad song at all.
Yeah, this is like kind of like a pop song for them almost. Really, a lot of the stuff does have melody underneath it, but then a lot of their songs would then like cut to noisier kind of abstract
Yep.
sections, whereas that one I feel like, other than the opening,
Yeah, right.
was fairly...
It was a single.
Yeah.
It definitely hasn't started off as art as Viet
No,
Cong
exactly,
did.
no.
The beginning of Viet Cong was very noisy. This is much more accessible.
Yeah.
His voice is really high in this song. It's interesting. I don't mind it at all
That's
actually.
cool.
He can pull it off.
You just gotta love those bass tones, eh? It's just so good.
Oh yeah. Now that
Yeah.
feels like Viet Cong.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Yeah, this would fit easily on the first album. Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, Oh, it's kind of creepy in a way.
Yeah.
But I like that he's pushing his voice into areas that we haven't seen so far yet.
Yeah, he's definitely exploring his range way more. That's...
Yeah, the bass.
That line.
Yeah, the
so good.
bass is so good.
You have those like really nice kind of bass tones, and then just like the
Yeah.
shrill like ear-piercing guitar. Like that contrast is what I really love about like this genre, I think.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
See, that was
So-
one of the things that I didn't really like about the
Nah.
first half.
Nah, I love it.
Like Newspaper Spoons, it gets really noisy and
Yeah.
like that shrill of that guitar.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a good song if it wasn't for that sort of. But
Yeah,
you love it.
I really like it, yeah. And then like his voice is kind of like almost in between. But no, both those two songs are great.
I really like that one. That was really good.
Like an album so far. This is rough.
You enjoying it? No.
No. Not as much as the music, that's for sure. There's less noise happening so far,
Definitely.
so it's like that's always makes it a bit easier to process the music.
But they could also be doing a reverse Viet Cong.
Maybe.
Where they
Yeah.
start off with the more accessible stuff and then
Maybe just
head into the more like,
degenerates.
arts, noise rock
Yeah.
towards the end.
I haven't really been listening to the lyrics. Have you caught much of...
I caught a bit in anxiety, maybe because I'm
Yeah.
familiar with it. But no, not really.
It is the kind of band that I found I didn't really like pay that much attention to the lyrics for a long time. For me
No.
personally, like, and then
And I don't think there's a lot there.
No. Yeah.
I did like in Viet Cong, it did sort of add a little bit towards the like the theming of the album.
Yeah.
But
yeah, exactly. I know.
they never strike me as a lyric sort of band.
There's a couple moments on Viet Cong. That's cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's really stripped back.
Got nothing like that on Viet Cong.
No, what is that even? I guess it's just guitar. Yeah, that's sick.
That's great. That's
Builds
really
it up
good.
Again, yeah. What was I saying? So yeah, like the first, there's some really good like one-liners, I guess, for lack of a
On
better
Viet
word,
Cong?
on Viet Cong that is
Yeah,
really good.
definitely.
Like, tell it to me straight or something. What is the difference between love and hate?
Yeah,
It's just like
uh-huh.
something you can scream.
I always like mutant lips on Japanese ships.
Yeah, maybe they're not deep necessarily, or like they're not super clever, but they're like good moments.
He can definitely
Yeah.
like you can see like in some of those lines a lot of thought actually goes
Yeah.
into.
But this is awesome.
Is that even him?
I haven't seen much of their live stuff. I'm not
No.
familiar. It's pretty much just the one
I'm
singer,
pretty sure
right?
it's the one singer, but he's definitely entering a different like
Yeah.
vocal range on this album, which is really interesting and I really appreciate.
We were saying we like appreciate when bands aren't afraid to like kind of release something similar,
Yeah.
but you should still add little nuances,
definitely.
like little changes. And I think this is like a great example of just letting it wash over me. And it's so good.
It's almost that shoegazy sort of sound
Yeah.
with that guitar.
All that feedback and stuff.
Uh-huh. It's very ethereal.
No, that was fantastic. But that shift after the the first section, so good.
It was. I thought it was a totally different song. We're going into Act 3.
Here we are in a submarine.
Do they say 4X on the submarine?
4X bitter, man.
You're a brave man.
Yeah.
Especially to get one in that size.
If you're gonna do it, you've got to be all in.
It's a short album as well. It's
Yeah.
only 38 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know
like,
how I'm gonna get through that.
There's like 2.5 standards.
Yeah. You're gonna have to sleep here tonight. So here's a bit more of the art noise stuff.
Yeah, very atmospheric.
I will kick back in, no doubt.
It's just relaxing. Just gonna...
Yeah. Make yourself at home in your own home.
in my own home.
So far, they haven't. I don't think they've made a wrong step. Taken a wrong step. I don't reckon. Like,
no,
it's been,
no, you're right.
It's been really well pieced together. The whole album. Just waiting for it.
They're
It
really-
will happen.
They're really pulling it
Yeah,
out.
Yeah.
Ah, very long extended outro
Yeah.
there. I thought it was going to kick back in, but it didn't.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes? Degraded, yes?
Yes. Longer intro than I've heard, I think, as well.
Okay, yeah. They've obviously made
Yeah.
radio edits.
Radio edits.
Whatever
yeah.
radio station is playing Preoccupations, I
Yeah.
want to listen to that radio
Yeah.
station. Not even Triple J plays Preoccupations,
Really?
I'm
Okay.
sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
So good.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Once again, man, those bass lines, they are
Uh-huh.
so good.
They are.
It's just the momentum, yeah.
Ooh,
Fantastic, yeah, so good.
this is really good. You saw these guys live, didn't you?
No, I
No.
missed out, unfortunately.
Ah.
Yeah.
That'd be fantastic
Yeah, I
live.
can imagine.
Those long,
Yeah,
extended,
so
which
good.
don't translate as well
I
on
don't think so.
album. Don't say that.
No, I mean, I agree. Like, I
Oh,
don't think so
okay.
either. No, like, don't say
I
that.
thought you were like, no, you
Don't have an
offended me.
opinion. No, I completely agree. They don't quite translate.
The end of that Memory was an 11-minute song. And like the beginning of Anxiety, the beginning of Degraded, they're all like
Yeah.
quite lengthy. But I think
Sticking
live,
true.
it
Yeah.
would work much better.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
That was really good.
It is probably the best track of the album so far. This is
This
really... This is something else.
This is something else.
I'm getting like Beatles almost, eh?
Okay.
Strangely enough.
Oh. Those
What is
albums-
this song though?
I don't know.
I don't know where. It's like cool, but so unexpected, which is good. Yeah, it's like whimsical for them, almost. Like considering what their
yeah.
other stuff's like, it's a bit.
Yeah, it's like this faded utopia sound.
Yeah. It's fascinating.
What is that
Yeah.
sound? That's really cool.
Yeah.
I feel like I refuse to talk anymore.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah,
that
that
was
was so strange.
and just when you thought it was like coming back in,
Yeah.
it just like fades out immediately.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just straight back to it, eh?
This is Joy Division.
Yeah, sick. Yeah.
This
So
is a
good.
really enjoyable
Yeah.
album.
Something Interpol would be proud of, I reckon.
You got it.
Yeah.
You've got it. Interpol. That's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
of. Turn on the bright lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd be more than happy to have this in their catalogue.
At the moment they would be,
Yeah,
yeah. Such energy and momentum to the songs
Yeah.
that I'm really enjoying.
Yeah.
Ooh. They've got some really interesting soundscapes in this album. See, again, that melody that's hiding beneath.
Exactly, yeah, that's exactly right.
Looking at the track listing, I think we actually confused two songs for one. There were two 1-minute songs.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, which was like
yeah.
that forbidden area.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a little bit sad for me. I thought they
Yeah.
worked well together, and... Ooh.
But I mean, it's like, they could have just thrown them together, really. Safe to say this has been a more solid album in many ways than the first one.
You think
From
so?
From start to finish. I mean, what about for yourself? Like,
Yeah, it hasn't had a weak spot,
yeah.
I don't feel, on first listen. That's really like janky.
Yeah. That's a bit clunky, yeah.
Yeah. I actually think this is probably the weakest point of the album. His vocals in this one are a bit... They're not as good as they have been the rest of the album. I mean, this is the anti-death for a final
Yeah, true,
song.
yeah.
Like, Death was the long, drawn out. This is very melodic. Very easy to digest.
Yeah.
It's definitely not as been as good as the rest of the album, personally, I think.
Yeah, I'm not really feeling it compared to the other stuff.
Yeah, and he's just repeating that same
Yeah.
line over and over, and it's wearing. That's it, I think.
That's it.
That's the album. That was really enjoyable.
Yeah.
I was really nervous. I was really anxious.
Anxious,
I
yeah.
had a lot of anxiety.
anxiety.
At the beginning of the album, that was really quickly quelled. That was a really enjoyable album. It doesn't feel like Viet Cong Part 2.
No.
It does feel like its own album.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
definitely.
they're still the same band. I liked how he was trying new things with his vocals.
Yeah,
and I
that
think
was really
he really
cool.
pulled them off.
Yeah, just some different sounds as well.
In the second half, there's definitely some
exactly.
newer sounds. I loved what they did. I'm calling the song Forbidden, but it would probably included the song before that as well.
Yeah.
There was some really interesting sounds that I loved. It was not Viet Cong. It was Preoccupations, I guess. But with saying that, there were some really solid Viet Cong style songs in there, like
Exactly,
Degraded.
yeah.
Even Memory, that was very... It was very Death, like the
Yeah.
very obvious comparison to make.
Yeah, like overall really good like experience, eh? I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it.
Not a pointless experience.
It's always the second album is really
The
hard.
sophomore slump.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is really tricky, and I feel like they introduced enough new elements while also staying true to what they had, what drew people in the first place. I think there's not much else to add other than that beer is terrible. But,
This is alright, but it's packed with sugar, I'm pretty sure, so...
yeah, no doubt.
Can't be bad. One final point that I do want to make is that The album is really short.
Yeah.
It's under 40 minutes, which is great from a first taste point of view because I've got so much less to edit than all the other albums, which have been an hour long.
Yeah.
It was really short. I think it probably could have been a bit longer.
Yeah,
especially considering there were like Anxiety had a really big intro, Memory had a really big outro, Degraded had a really big intro.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of space in between some of the songs. And it is only really short albums.
They're just loving that format, hey? I mean, like...
Oh, they did it a lot on Viet
much
Cong.
Much of Progress. That whole intro there
Mm-hmm.
is probably like...
4 minutes or something?
Like longer than most bands would stretch it. It's a shame that it's so short in a way. But no, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, that was really great. I'm really pleased with that album.
Yeah, so good.
It's better than I thought it would be.
Yeah, nice. And I'm like just glad that it was as good as the first one, basically.
Yeah, I think it was just as solid. So thank you so much for coming on, Dan.
Thanks for having me.
And you will be seeing another video like this next week. So see you in a week. Ladies, guys. Have you seen that video of Ian Curtis on the roller coaster?
That's fantastic.
Yeah.